finish was so good. Controversy creates cash, and there was controversy at the end of Lakers Suns. And look, if you're listening to this show, I'm just going to assume that you've
Are
seen
you
it
saying
because
that Devin screwed Devin? Is that
Phoenix screwed Phoenix? No,
Yeah.
this was unfortunately, the ref made a bad call, but an honest bad call. Like this was just a tough. It's a split second. There's bodies flying all over the place. You've got a guy yelling in your ear. But man, that timeout. We're going to be talking about this for a long time, I think. And the game itself was pretty good. But we're only going to talk about this timeout call.
Well, the one thing, just a word of advice for refs: when you're not sure, just don't blow the whistle.
Do nothing.
Just don't blow the whistle. But I think that what's a shame about this, because I think you're right, the timeout call is going to kind of be the thing everybody's going to talk about. Phoenix Suns are going to go irate. Man, AD missed 2 free throws at the end, and they had a chance to tie it. Like I mean, it's still right there.
They also went quack 2 with 11 seconds left.
I know,
but,
but they still had it worked out for them. But but like there's a lot of stuff there to bite on. But more importantly, that was a playoff game. That was another playoff game. Like that had the intensity of a playoff game. The Lakers go up. The Suns have a massive third quarter. Like that was really like they really kind of 14-0 run and really kind of put it on the Lakers from there and made it a game the rest of the way. And it was back and forth the whole time. That was riveting basketball.
I think 2 of the 4 semis really delivered. And honestly, that's probably doing pretty well just in terms of
the Final Four in college.
If you compare it to think about playoff games. I mean, we get dud playoff games, and I'm not calling Bucks Knicks a dud, although it was a dud for the Knicks, and we'll talk about that. But the game itself was still entertaining. But Lakers Suns, Pacers Celtics, playoff feel, playoff atmosphere, playoff. I mean, it was fun to watch. But let's talk a little bit about the game. This is the Suns have some issues, and depth, I think, is exactly what we expected to be their biggest problem. It's proving to be their biggest problem. Are they going to be able to compete when we get to, I mean, when they're fighting for seeding? Are they going to be able to get into that top 4? Like, I think this team needs home court advantage. I just don't know that they've got the guys right now.
So there's 2 bits here. There's really 3 bits here if you think about it. One is their margin for error in doing that because they're so top heavy. The second is like, yes, it's important for them to get home court, but it's also like for them, as for every team, it's important to get to the playoffs with their guys whole. And I think the Lakers have this problem a little too. A crazy stat that I've been watching is, do you know who is leading the NBA in possessions played so far this year?
Got to be LeBron.
Anthony Davis.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And like, with his history, that's something that like, pops your eyes out of your head. So it puts them at risk of like running their guys down before the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, which is, has become such a weak link game where if you have a guy who sticks out like a sore thumb, the better teams, that guy, we're going at that guy. We're going to figure out the best way to go at him. And they're probably always going to have one or more of those on the floor.
Well, I mean, it's what we talked about from the beginning. They have a playoff problem in Yusuf Nurkic. As great as he is for them offensively, and I think he's awesome for them offensively. He had a beautiful pass over the top to AD for a cutting layup and things like that. I think he's going to be involved in every pick and roll action. I have to go back and rewatch to count it up. But I can just offhand, I know of 2 pick and rolls that LeBron got downhill on them, drew a foul on a KD on one of them, and got one on Nurkic off of that. Like that's already one playoff problem they got to answer. To answer your original question, Dave, yeah, I think they need home court advantage. But so do I think everybody in the playoffs is going to need home court advantage. I'm worried about just when are we going to see them fully healthy? I know there's talk Bradley Beal will be able to hopefully come back next week, but it's a back thing. You never know what happens with that. That can change super quick. KD kind of got banged up a little bit in this game against the Lakers. And I think, you have to be concerned with those things. Like, are they going to have enough time together as a full healthy unit to really kind of build sort of a chemistry and start to have that cohesion going into the playoffs?
Well, and you mentioned Nurkic and how he's going to be a target for opposing offensives. The Suns don't have a higher defensive gear, and Nurkic is a big part of that. When you look at down the stretch of this game, I mean, Anthony Davis guarded Devin Booker on the wing and stonewalled him as well as I've seen any big ever do to Devin Booker. The Lakers do have that ability to crank it up to 11 defensively. They've got some guys. I mean, even LeBron, right? I mean, and a lot of it's not just physical with LeBron. I mean, it's a lot of mental stuff with LeBron. Like, he just knows where to be, but they all are able to turn it up. Those late game possessions, they were more physical. The Suns couldn't match that physicality. And I think that's a big problem for them that they've had for a few years. And Nurkic was supposed to, I think, theoretically solve it, but he doesn't.
I mean, there was a possession you're talking about with LeBron defensively where he was all over the court, and I think they kind of highlighted it in a replay where he was on the ball, rotated over to the weak side, then slid over and got the steal and things like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff when you're talking about, like, can we amp it up? And at points in this game, when LeBron kind of took over at the end of the fourth quarter of this game, I just felt like, man, they have nobody that could stop him. Like, I was just thinking, like, Eric Gordon's a good defender. He can't stop LeBron. KD's a good defender. He can't stop LeBron. After that, I'm kind of just like, Devin Booker's too small. Grayson Allen ends up on him. He's getting bullied. He's blown by Nurkic. Like, that's the problem for them.
We're going to switch gears because I got to talk about LeBron at some point. We've gotten a quarter of the way through the season, and I don't think we've spent a lot of time on LeBron this year. I mean, and this is year 21 for him. So we kind of just expect this. This guy's 39 years old. How in the hell is he doing this? He played 40 minutes last night, hit 31 points. I mean, this is he was, I thought, the most impactful player in this game. He's been the most impactful player for the Lakers this season. This is incredible what he's doing. Are we like, I don't even know, like, is this sustainable for the Lakers? Like, do we need to just say, are you guys waiting for the other shoe to drop with him? Or is this just like, this guy looks great. He looks so healthy.
He's very invested in the in-season tournament.
He is.
So also I'm wondering if we see this level kind of as we move into more normal play, if this is something we get night to night. And I kind of think there's going to be what we've come to see from like the casual excellence we've seen from kind of late career LeBron, where there might be stretches where he dials it up, but for the most part he's managing his way through a season. That's sort of what I expect to see once we get done with the tournament, because I think he would very much like to be the inaugural tournament MVP.
I mean, listen, Michael Jordan never did it.
Yeah, so fair.
And I love that, by the way. I love the investment. Go ahead, Mo. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
interrupt. No, but that's it. Like, what Seth said is spot on. It's, and my question is, like, that's fine. I just want to see the toll it's going to have on him at the end of the season, and where he's at energy level wise. Like, look, they tried to start the season with the bullshit idea that he was going to play 25 minutes a game, and they were trying to rest him. Like, they understood that. And obviously the in-season tournament, as Seth said, and it shows in the way he's played in these particular games, that he's fully invested and wants to be the MVP of it and run through it. I'm curious at what cost, and I think that's going to be an interesting one. And we'll have to see in February, March, and April what he looks like. Cause he's amazing now, and I'm not trying to take any of it away, but like, can he keep this up? Cause I don't know if he can.